Yo, what's up, guys? It's King Sean here, and it is Mock Draft Monday. We're about 17 days away from the start of the 2025 NFL Draft. So in today's video, I'll be bringing you guys my fourth mock draft for the Washington Commanders of the offseason. This will be a trade-back mock draft. I'll be trading back from pick 29, which is our first-round pick, to acquire more picks, and I'll be breaking down each pick in depth and basically just going over why I feel like each pick would be a pretty solid pick for the Washington Commanders. But before we get into today's video, make sure y'all leave a like down below, subscribe if you're not already subbed up, and turn on notifications. And with that out of the way, let's get straight into today's video. Alright, so before we get to the actual mock draft, we gotta start by talking about the trade back scenario I have here. So I have us trading back with the Cleveland Browns, and I have us getting pick 33, which is the first pick of round 2, pick 104, which is a 4th round pick, and pick 179, which is a 6th round pick. And I have us giving away, obviously, our 1st round pick, pick 29. Feel like this is a fair trade, and we've heard over the past, I'll say like week really, that the Browns are probably going to take Abdul Carter at number 2. We've heard that from Adam Schefter, and there have been rumors and reports. Now, I know it's lying season, right? Like, you really don't want to believe in everything you hear. However, it is a possibility that the Browns really pass up on Shedeur Sanders at 2, because Cam Ward's probably going to go 1. And the Browns, there's a great chance that they pass up on Shedeur at 2 and instead take Abdul Carter. And there have been rumors over the past week or so that the Browns may trade back up into the 1st round if, for whatever reason, Shedeur Sanders is still sitting on the board, or maybe trade back up into the 1st round to draft a guy like Jackson Dart to, get that 5th-year option on him, so you have that extra year to assess him, and, that's going to be your quarterback you have instead of Shedeur Sanders, who you could just draft at 2, or once again, if Shedeur is sitting there, for some reason, you could trade back up to the 1st round and get him, right? So I'm just doing this trade back scenario on the basis that Shedeur Sanders, but probably Jackson Dart, is sitting there around our pick at pick 29, right? And the Browns feel like not give up too much, right? Only a 4th and a 6th round pick, and obviously our 2nd round pick, and get that 5th-year option on Jackson Dart and have just another year, to obviously assess him, and hopefully he can be our franchise quarterback instead of taking Shedeur Sanders at 2 and taking Abdul Carter instead, right? That's just my, thought when it came to, basically putting together this trade back scenario, right? But I want to hear your thoughts about it in the comment section down below. But once again, I have us trading pick 29 for picks 33, 104, and 179. All right, so for our first pick, round 2, pick 33, I have us selecting Notre Dame cornerback Benjamin Morrison. I'm a big fan of Benjamin Morrison, man. This guy was super productive in college, obviously at Notre Dame. This past season now, he did suffer a season-ending hip injury. I still don't know what type of hip injury he suffered, but all I know is the hip injury caused him to miss the rest of the season. And before that, he wasn't playing super well. I wouldn't say well at all, but he wasn't playing as good as he was playing before then, right, in 2022 and 2023. Speaking of 2022 and 2023, though, he was an absolute dog in those seasons. He had 6 interceptions in 2022 and 3 interceptions in 2023. I remember the game versus Ohio State in 2023. He locked down Marvin Harrison Jr., who was the best receiver in college football that season. He won the Biletnikoff Award, so he was the best receiver by far, and Morrison pretty much shut him down. 6 foot, 193 pounds, doesn't have the greatest arm length, 30-inch arm length, but he's a very smooth athlete and has good short area quickness and lateral movement. He's very good at man coverage, in my opinion, specifically off man coverage, but he does have really good makeup speed as well to chase and close separation. So if a guy gets separation on him, no problem. He can just make it up because he has good makeup speed. Like I just mentioned, really good ball production. 9 interceptions from 2022 to 2023, 6 in 2022, and 3 in 2023. Has natural feet for attacking angles and catch points. So Morrison, man, he's really good in man coverage, really good ball productivity, really good instincts. Now, I do think he could improve in zone coverage, his instincts there, but in man coverage, he is all you want, to be honest with you. So I'm a big fan of Benjamin Morrison. Before the injury, would probably be a first round guy, and he still may go in the first round, but now it's more likely that he probably goes second round and probably early second round. And if we trade back, I mean, even if we stick and pick at 29, wouldn't mind taking Morrison with 29, but if we trade back, I would love to take Morrison with whatever pick we end up with after trading back in the second round, right? So once again, I was selecting Morrison with the 33rd overall pick that we acquired from the Browns in this trade back scenario. And I would absolutely love it if we somehow ended up with Benjamin Morrison because he's an absolute dog. Round 2, pick 61, I have a selecting Michigan edge rusher Josiah Stewart. I love Josiah Stewart. He's one of my personal favorite edge rusher prospects in this entire draft class. The first game I watched of his was his game versus USC this past season, and he was absolutely dominant against USC. If I'm not mistaken, he had about 2 sacks, and the USC tackles just had no answers for him, man. He was winning, around those tackles with ease, man, with his speed, and that's one of his strengths. He's good at winning around tackles, just using his speed, but he also has a variety of pass rush moves. He has a nice dip. He also sets a very physical edge, which, you may be surprised by. He is 6'1", 249, so he is undersized. And in the league, he may have more of a tough time, setting a physical edge or defending the run or winning against tackles because of his size. So he may need to put on a little bit more strength, but he's super physical. He's tough. He has the speed to chase down running backs, aggressive. Josiah Stewart, he's honestly got it all besides size, right? And to me, if he was like 6'3" and like 255, 260, he would probably be a first-round pick or at least a borderline first-round pick. But because he's 6'1", 249, he is more of a second-round pick, and I'm selecting him, pick 61. I wouldn't be surprised if he went earlier than this because I feel like, honestly, he could go like mid-second round or even early second round, right? But because of, how undersized he is, right, 6'1", 249, could struggle against bigger and stronger tackles in the league when it comes to defending the run and, winning against those bigger and stronger tackles, right? Maybe a reason as to why he falls a little bit, but, man, Josiah Stewart, he's an absolute dog. And if he falls to 61, I would honestly take him. Would be the second Michigan defensive player we've taken over the past 2 years, or second straight draft we've taken a Michigan player if we were to draft Josiah Stewart. Last year, Mikey Sanders still, who wore number 0. This year, Josiah Stewart, who wore number 0. Something about those Michigan players who wore number 0, they always dogs, and Josiah Stewart is no exception. So once again, if he's here at number 61, I'm sprinting to the podium because I'm a big fan of Josiah Stewart. Round 4, pick 104, I have it selecting Washington State receiver Kyle Williams. He is a super fun prospect to watch, and he's actually been getting a lot of hype recently. And to be honest with you, I'm not even sure if he'll be available in round 4 now because of how much hype he's been generating really over the past 2 to 3 weeks now. He ran a 4.4 at the combine, which is very good, and he is really good versus single coverage. This past season at Washington State, he had 70 catches for close to 1,200 yards and 14 touchdowns, which is really good. He has a really good release package. Once again, really good against single coverage, like versus Travis Hunter back in 2023. Kyle Williams was amazing versus Travis Hunter in single coverage. I mean, there was this one play where he just ran right past Travis Hunter, really good release, and on a deep ball, and pretty much burnt him, scored a touchdown, right? So he's really good against single coverage, man coverage, has really good quickness and speed, can be a really good deep ball threat in the league, and he's really good with the ball in his hands. Like, Washington State used him on a couple of screen passes, and he would be pretty solid on those screen passes. I kind of wish they used him more on screen passes because he was really good with the ball in his hands, and once again, very productive at Washington State in 2024. Now, he does have a bit of a smaller frame at 5'11", 190 pounds, and he's not the most physical receiver, right? So he does need to maybe add on some more strength, and he does have a shorter wingspan, right? So a little undersized, and also just not, the strongest receiver, right? So making him not the most physical guy, and also not an amazing blocking receiver, which I know is super important in the Cliff Kingsbury offense. But Kyle Williams, man, in my opinion, he's just so good, way too good to pass up on, in my opinion, especially if he's available this late in round 4, because remember, he's been getting a lot of hype lately, like over the past 2 to 3 weeks. Like, some experts have even said that he may go round 2, which is like, whoa, I have a round 3 grade on him. Like, round 2, wow. So if he falls to round 4, pick 104, I would definitely select him because he offers speed that we could really use on this team. And once again, he's really good against single coverage. Round 4, pick 128, I have us selecting running back Brashard Smith out of SMU. Like how Josiah Stewart is one of my favorite edge rusher prospects, Brashard Smith is one of my favorite running back prospects, and I'm still watching running back film. But, man, I watched Brashard Smith about 2 nights ago. He's a dog, man. Like, I was so surprised by how good he was on tape because he just transitioned to running back this past season. Like, he was at Miami before this past season for 2-3 years, and he was a receiver at Miami. And because he just wasn't getting enough playing time, he made the transition to running back. And he was so good at running back for SMU this past season. I was shocked. Like, your first year at running back, SMU was in the ACC last season. The ACC had legit competition, and Brashard Smith absolutely dominated, man. He's a bit undersized at 5'10", 194 pounds, but again, consider that this was his first year at running back. Maybe as he, gets to the NFL, he will put on some more weight, put on some more strength, right? So not really too concerned about that. He has home run hitting speed, man. He ran a 4.39 at the combine, which is amazing. And when he watches Miami tape, that speed showed up. Like, it literally showed up, man. He has great burst and acceleration. Obviously, as a former receiver, he had great hands, and he has great pass catching ability, right? So, that's just a plus, right? Being a former receiver. Really good at breaking tackles, has good change of direction and start ability. So you stop at this point and then start again, and you basically never lose your speed when you start again. That's what Brashard Smith has. Super elusive around the line of scrimmage, and I was pretty pleased by his ball security, man. Only had 2 fumbles this past season as the first year of him being a running back full time. Like, that's crazy. Only 2 fumbles. That's really good, man. So Brashard Smith, man, considering this past season was only his first year at running back, he's just going to keep developing and getting better and better at the position, man. I was super pleased coming out of his film, man. And if he's there at 128, I would definitely take him. He's the type of guy we need in our running back room because he has dynamic ability, home run hitting ability. He is the explosive back that we need in this running back room. Round 6, pick 179, I have us selecting Oregon offensive tackle Johnny Cornelius. He was their starting right tackle. As we know, Josh Connerly was their starting left tackle. So Johnny Cornelius, he was their starting right tackle, and he was pretty solid with them. I mean, the Oregon O-line was pretty solid overall, but Johnny Cornelius, he was pretty solid. He is 6'5", 310 pounds, 33.5-inch arms, so he has the size to be a very solid tackle in the NFL, and that's what this scouting report has listed down. He's progressively improved his use of hands and pass protection and a good circle punch technique to widen the corner and corral high side rushes. So over his time at Oregon, he's progressively improved as a pass protector, has good mass and play strength to cover up and wall off first level defenders on angle drive down and double team. So that's good. So once again, he has the size, he has the physical tools to be a pretty solid tackle in the league. As for his athletic ability, he's not the greatest athlete. He has pretty mediocre lateral quickness. He doesn't have the greatest athleticism. So, that may hinder him a little bit. However, I feel like getting a developmental tackle on day 3 in the later rounds, round 6 or 7, would be pretty good. Right now, we have Brandon Coleman, have Laremy Tunsil, but we really don't have a developmental tackle on the roster. So just getting a young developmental tackle on the roster in a guy like Ajani Cornelius, I feel like that would be a pretty solid pick on day 3 in my opinion. So once again, I have a selecting Oregon offensive tackle who played at right tackle for Oregon, Ajani Cornelius, round 6, pick 179. Round 6, pick 205, I have selecting Alabama safety Malachi Moore. He is able to play all over the defense, able to play deep free safety, single high. He's able to play in the box and in the slot, right? And, that's great versatility that you would like to have on your defense. And that's honestly what a lot of NFL teams expect out of their safeties nowadays, right? They want a guy at safety who is able to play several positions along the defense, right? Basically all over the defense, right? I look at Antoine Winfield Jr., for example. He's able to play that single high deep free safety, but also at strong safety, down the box, at slot corner, right? So NFL teams want safeties that can play all over the field, and Malachi Moore is able to do so. He has 7 career interceptions, 5 years at Alabama, so not bad at all. This past season, had 2 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, and 8 pass deflections, so he has somewhat of a knack for balls, and he has really good range as a deep safety. He's a very secure tackler in the open field, which is really good. Jeremy Chin, Quan Martin, they weren't bad tacklers last year, but at times they did struggle to wrap up, like in the NFC Championship game. I mean, the first Eagles play of the game, Saquon took it all the way to the house on a toss, and Quan Martin, Jeremy Chin, they primarily the reasons as to why Saquon scored there, right? Like they had him wrapped up, and somehow, some way, Saquon got out of that, right? So it'll be nice to have a safety that can wrap up all the time, and Malachi Moore is able to do so. So his versatility, pretty much a ball hawk with really good deep range as a safety and a secure tackle in the open field. That all sounds good to me, and it would be nice to have a better third safety than Percy Butler, because right now Butler is our third safety, and drafting a guy like Malachi Moore in the later rounds to be our third safety, he'll probably start off on special teams, but he can develop into that third safety role, or maybe even more. I would definitely take a chance on a guy like him in the later rounds. So once again, round 6, pick 205, I was selecting Alabama safety Malachi Moore. And then round 7, pick 245, some of y'all may not like this, but I was selecting Miami kicker Andres Borregales. And look, I'm not the biggest fan of drafting a kicker, but if he's there in the 7th round, I'm like, why not? Because it's a 7th round pick. Who are you going to get with a 7th round pick? I know there's been steals over the past few years, like Isaiah Pacheco, who, I mean, you can get a running back in really any round, or I guess not any round, but it's easy to find a good running back nowadays, right? Or a solid running back nowadays, and Isaiah Pacheco was that. And the Chiefs drafted him in the 7th round. Obviously, Brock Purdy, but, most of the times you're really not going to find anyone very great in the 7th round, right? At a skill position, right? So why not just take a kicker, right? Like, why not? 7th round pick, I wouldn't mind it. There's a chance he goes undrafted, but he is considered one of, if not the best kickers in this draft class. So probably a great chance that he does not go undrafted. And if he's there at 245, why not? Because he was really good for Miami. And college kickers usually haven't transitioned well to the NFL. Like, I look at Jake Moody, for example, Chad Ryland from Maryland back in 2023, I'm pretty sure. They were actually in the same draft class, and they didn't work out. Moody with the Niners and Ryland with the Patriots, right? Neither of those guys worked out with their teams, right? So college kickers really haven't worked out, right? So, that's something to definitely consider when it comes to potentially drafting a kicker. But Borregales, really good at Miami this past season, 100% from extra points and 94.7% field goal percentage, which is really good. Overall, in his career, 86 field goal percentage and a 99.5 extra point percentage as well. And he has a pretty big leg too. So, look, if he's sitting there, round 7, pick 245, I wouldn't mind doing it. I'll just say that. I would not mind doing it, and I could definitely see them doing it because they did hold a private workout with Borregales this week or this past week at Miami. So if he's sitting there in the 7th round at our pick, I could definitely see us pulling the trigger. So that is it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Just going to go over the list of picks once again. Round 2, pick 33, cornerback Benjamin Morrison. Round 2, pick 61, edge rusher Josiah Stewart. Round 4, pick 104, receiver Kyle Williams. Round 4, pick 128, running back Rashard Smith. Round 6, pick 179, offensive tackle Johnny Cornelius. Round 6, pick 205, safety Malachi Moore. And round 7, pick 245, Andreas Borregales. So comment down below your thoughts on my mock draft and any of the picks really in this mock draft. And comment down below who you think the Commanders should take at 29 or what they think they should do at 29. Should they trade back or stick and pick? And other than that, it's been King Sean and I'm out. Peace.